What is going on, everyone? My name is Myles Farrington. I'm joined today by,
Adam Leonard.
and we are joined by a special guest this week, the one and only editor-in-chief of Middle of Nowhere Gaming, Harry Loizides.
Yeah, hello guys. Good enough.
Yeah, there we go. So as you all know, Chris is out this week, and possibly the next couple weeks. So as I said, we're getting joined today, and this is episode 165. Someone else to tell the tale, and let's go ahead and actually tell us a little bit about yourself, Harry.
Sure. So I started with Middle of Nowhere Gaming in June of 2014. Through that almost 3 years, I've been an associate writer, then associate editor, then executive editor, and then position I'm in now as editor-in-chief. During that time, I was fortunate enough to go to New York Comic Con twice as press, and then also at the New York Toy Fair this year in February, which was actually really interesting and much fancier than the New York Comic Con. But regardless, it was all extremely awesome and a really great time. And I'm really excited to continue at Middle of Nowhere Gaming to make sure that we can make it the best it can be for the future.
There you go.
End of
Fire.
spiel.
Yeah, I like it. It sounds like the speech that they give you in like a recording at the beginning of like a futuristic apocalyptic game. We're doing our best to make the future great. And you step outside and it's a wasteland.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's that's why we can't see my background right now, because it's all in flames.
Yes. So let's go ahead and jump into the weekly highlights. I've never actually said weekly highlights this week, or whatever words. We all know I'm not good at them. Anyway, what happened with the site since we were gone? It's been a couple weeks, so there's actually been quite a bit of stuff. So I'm going to try and scroll through and hit the highlights. There was a review for the Power Up Your Mega Man collection with Extreme Sets Command Station Diorama. I don't know what that is, but Chris Cobb did, and it's involving Mega Man, so if you like Mega Man, go check that out. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe review by some dude named Harry Loizides.
Yeah, who's that guy?
Yeah, that guy. That guy right there. So yeah, that review's up, as well as a review by Brett Williams for Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy's Episode 1. Devolver Digital said they're going to have a conference from Darius Purse. The Witcher headed to Netflix. It's either going to be great or it's going to be a horrible, horrible thing that should be set fire to. Again by Darius Purse. And then we also had mentions of new Life is Strange game in development. Housemark announces release date for Next Machina, Tekken 7 trailer, latest Pokemon Go event, I thought the game was dead, and Resident Evil franchise rises from the grave with reboot plans, and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 powers up with Switch release. Alright, that's kind of neat. So, there you go, folks. If you want to see and read more about those things, definitely go to the site and check it out. And speaking of the site, I need to catch my breath and wet my palate a little bit. But if you would like to join us at Middle of Nowhere Games, we do have a recruitment link at the bottom of wherever you're listening or watching this at. So definitely check that out if you feel like you have a skill. I guess Harry would know best what we need right now, but I usually say we just like we'll evaluate any skill to see if we can find a place for you, even if you are really good at interpretive dance or making macaroni sculptures.
Yeah, we can always find a useful skill to use on the site.
There you go. So yeah, albeit the regular skills that most people are looking for, like, video production, art, writing, of course, music, I guess, stuff like that. That'd be neat. So yeah, if you have skills that you think we could use and you want to use them in this field, definitely check out that link. And of course, we do have a Discord that is open to everyone, so check that link out as well if you want to get in there and chat. We have a space for leaving your thoughts from nowhere, so I can see those and catch them and then put them in the list to be talked about at the show, of course. And moving on from that, what's been going on in your life? Adam, take us away.
So I've been playing several different things. I was playing Prey pretty intently, which Prey is a very good game.
Mm-hmm.
I got pretty far into it, fairly close to the end, and admittedly, it just got to be a little bit too much for me, and I wasn't having fun anymore. So I just kind of chose to move on.
How was it too much? What happened that made you push away from it?
Big tough enemies, not enough resources to deal with them.
Okay.
So was there imbalancing issues, or did you just kind of hit a wall that was just really frustrating?
I think I just kind of hit a wall. I think if I was feeling more kind of into it and a little more invigorated, I probably would have found a way to persevere. But I was just kind of, I was kind of admittedly just finding myself more and more wanting to go back and start playing Kingdom Hearts again, because I have the Kingdom Hearts collection sitting on my shelf, and so I think I got to the point where I was more and more of a hurry just to kind of clip through Prey as quickly as I could. And then I kind of realized I just wasn't having any fun anymore, so I just put it away. I finally just pulled out Kingdom Hearts and kind of gave into it.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been basically mainly playing Kingdom Hearts. I'm almost through the first game.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the most part it's aged pretty well. I mean, there's a couple of issues with it. I think some of the graphics are downright scary at times. Those PS2 like animations are, not what they once were. And actually like this is crazy because on like in past shows I've bitched about how much I hate the gummy ship.
Yeah.
So in the final remix of 1.5 final remix or whatever the hell they call it, you know what they did is they decided because they apparently what I didn't realize is they made changes to the game, and one of the changes they made is they're like, I know, we should make the gummy ship stuff harder.
Oh no.
Like in the normal mode, like the gummy enemies do like double the damage they did from the original game, and you do like I think a quarter of your damage.
That sounds wonderful. Actually, I'm so happy to hear that.
I know if Chris was here, he'd probably be doling out some kind of apology reaction. But that part's a little bit rough.
Okay, I think you got your one computer meltdown out of the way for this episode.
So that's cool.
Yeah, this happens sometimes. So yeah, while Adam recovers, or more specifically, his PC recovers. You're back, Adam. You're back.
How should I? Where did I lose out?
I think we got the gist of it. That Gummy Ship is messed up. They made it worse. And if Chris were here, he would probably have a similar reaction to that information.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, well, Chris would probably defend the gummy ship thing because I think he actually liked it. Anyways, I'm almost done with the first one. Hoping to start the second one tonight. I'm gonna be very interested to play them back to back to see how much of an improvement one was into two. Mm-hmm. And I might get crazy and even try to play all the little like all the little tiny games that came in between to try to fill in all those gaps.
Okay, well, that's definitely something like worth doing, I guess. That I know that series is very long and storied. I'm sorry for those of you watching the podcast right now and seeing that messed up window up there. But yeah, I was actually gonna say, have you done what I would usually do when I like get to a point in the game where I'm just done and I was really close to the end? Because I'll go to YouTube. I'll just be like, I don't want to finish this, but I want to know what happened because I put in all the time, you know.
I gotta be honest that while I think the game was really cool to play and there was some good story stuff, I don't know if I felt necessarily so intrigued that I needed to find out what happened in the end of Prey.
Oh, okay. All right. Well. So if you're gonna like review the game, if you're gonna give us a number right now, right here, what's your number for it? Or what's your opinion? Your final review opinion?
I'd probably give it an 8.
Okay.
Very nice.
So I guess you enjoyed it enough up to the end, when then that's where it fell off. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say: is just because I didn't finish it, don't regret buying it. Enjoyed my time with it, and I feel like I got enough out of it that I felt justified in purchasing it.
All right, that's good. I like that. That's a solid review. Harry, this is the part where we talk about, as you probably gathered just now, what's been going on our week. Usually it's our week since we were last here, but since it's been a couple weeks since you've never been here, just what have you been gaming on recently? That's the better question.
Sure. So the past 2 weeks I've kind of been potpourriing a bunch of little things. So for my Nintendo Switch, I've been, to no big surprise, still playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think I'm at 65 hours. I'm still loving it. I'm only down 2 beasts, so I'm kind of just coasting, enjoying my flow, hop in and out for maybe an hour or two. I haven't been doing binge gaming just because I get tired very quickly because I'm an old man in my late 20s. So in addition to that, like you mentioned, I played Mario Kart 8 for a while, Deluxe. Wonderful. I highly recommend. If you didn't buy it, buy it. And then aside from the Switch, I also been playing my 3DS, which I am enjoying the Pokemon Sun game. As a long-time Pokemon fan, I never actually beat Pokemon Sun yet, so I'm kind of just like with the Zelda, still it's like dipping in and out, playing for an hour or two, finding some cool Pokemon to play with, and then like switching out. Then on my PlayStation 4 front, I've kind of been playing Destiny, which is a game that I kind of played for maybe 10 hours when it released, never looked back, and then called it a day. But with all the news with Destiny 2, I'm like, I got that itch again.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that for a little bit, and it's fun. I like the Taken King. It's very dynamic, much better than the original vanilla Destiny, which I think everyone's been saying.
Yeah.
And I've also been playing 2 games for review. One is Spellspire, which is pretty much a matching letter game mixed with RPG elements. So you're a wizard trying to spell words, making spells to destroy enemies. Very basic, not like revolutionary, but it's fun. I like it. And then A Walking Dead New Frontier. I played so far the first episode. It's fun. Much different than the other 2 in a good way. But still similar enough where people who like the first 2 can still enjoy this one. Or if you've never played any of them, it could be a good jumping in point as well. So those 2 reviews are probably going to be coming out tomorrow. So this is a nice little preview.
Nice.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I have like everyone else, I have still a bunch of games on backlog that I will get to someday.
So I want to backtrack a second to Legend of Zelda. Which great beasts have you taken down?
I'm terrible with names, but I defeated the elephant and the camel.
Okay. So you did one of the easier ones, and you did probably the hardest one. Okay.
So which one is the hardest one? The elephant?
The camel.
Really? I didn't think that was that bad. But maybe I'm just so good that.
Yeah, maybe you're like well, you've played like 60 hours of it, so
yeah.
So you're enjoying it.
Oh yeah, totally. It is much better than I was expecting. I was very concerned that I would get bored of this like open world thing because it's very easy to get fatigued and you're just kind of wandering doing the same 4 things. It gets boring. But pretty much every time I play, I find a little thing that I didn't know I could do that I can do. And I think IGN had a 100 things that you don't know about Breath of the Wild until you play Breath of the Wild. I read the first 3. I didn't know those 3 things, but I had to stop because I'm like, I want to explore this for myself. And if I ever feel that I am getting stuck or bored, I'll read that, and then maybe that'll pole vault me to another direction. So I have no doubt that playing this is going to be a long-term thing that I'm totally cool with.
Yeah, and I think you kind of hit it on the head. That's one of the things that I think really makes it stand out as an open world RPG. Is I don't think I've really played many open world games that invite quite the sense of experimentation and discovery that like Zelda does, because you do find yourself constantly trying out stuff just to see if it's possible, and it constantly rewards you because it seems in most cases, if you've thought of it, so have the people who created the game.
Right. And it's cool. Like it's exactly what it's like, a 1-to-1 world with like mogoblins and like crazy creatures that you don't think it's going to work, but somehow it works, and you're just like, I enjoy this a lot.
So what's the zaniest thing you've done? Because I'm not the biggest fan of Breath of the Wild, but I've seen a lot of crazy things, like doing the whole Dragon Ball thing where you like you have something, you stop time, you hit it, and you jump on it and like fly away on it. That's awesome. So have you done anything like uniquely crazy to your playthrough, you think?
I don't think I've done anything bananas crazy, but I do like finding some silly pictures to screenshot. Or some interesting like little Easter eggs, like a Triforce with like the 3 symbols for courage, power, and wisdom. I thought that was really cool near the beginning of the game. Or just finding a bunch of really cute dogs. I did not think I would get that. In fact, actually, with semi-cell shaded dogs, but I must have taken like 20 shots of those, and I'm like, these are pretty effing cute. And I'm just going to stare at them for a few minutes. And I'm looking at them now, and they are as adorable as I thought they were.
Whatever makes you happy, I guess.
Yeah. It's just one of those weird things where, like, I saw a dragon one time, and I'm like, what is this? This is crazy. And then I immediately died when I tried touching it. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe at 100 hours I'll be able to touch him without dying.
Yeah, I actually had an experience where I wasn't even trying to find a dragon. I was just like randomly trying to get to somewhere, and so I decided to kind of like glide through the air for a bit. And all of a sudden I noticed like I shot up like really abruptly high into the air, and it's because I accidentally like drafted onto a dragon unintentionally.
What color was your dragon?
I think this was a yellow one.
Me too. So
okay.
I'm sure there are more than one yellow dragon, or there might be multiple dragons with multiple colors.
I think there are multiple colors, actually.
Ooh. So now I'm intrigued to find the other dragons now.
Now it has become a hunt for the dragons of the world.
Yes.
Well,
I will be the queen of dragons.
All right, Daenerys, calm down.
Let me bleach my hair. Hold on.
Well, for me, my week's been pretty run of the mill as per usual. I actually had my 6-day break from work this week, and a lot of it was sleeping. I'll be honest. I know I downloaded Phantom Dust, didn't actually play it yet, and I bought a car a couple weeks ago. So I don't.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty much my game money. So I was gonna buy PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds because my friends are playing that a lot, but then I realized it's not $15 or $20. It is $30, and I was like, that is like 2 to 3 meals. So I'm gonna hold off on that until my next paycheck. So that's where I'm at in terms of games I've been playing or not been playing, as this would denote. But Destiny 2, I'm excited. Destiny 2, that wasn't a haiku, and I don't care poo or something. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the part where people like the most. And Harry, it's gonna sound like nothing's happening. There's something happening, something awesome happening. So just give it a moment. But it's time for
the news from nowhere.
There you go. And
okay, so it's okay. I'm gonna hop in here for a second since Harry doesn't know what he's hearing.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a good refresher for people who listen that don't have who are like newer listeners, but we might have some.
It's been a while.
So basically, what you would have heard if you're actually listening to this like elsewhere, not just doing it live, is we back in the days when like Jordan and Myles and I were doing it. We used to like I don't know why like on one episode we got into this big. Have you played Diablo, Harry?
Diablo 2 and a little bit of 3.
Okay. You know who Deckard Cain is? Like the old dude that is pretty central to like the entire. I think he shows up in both of those games.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, one episode for one reason or another, we got onto a really long rant about Deckard Cain, and we joked about becoming an all Deckard Cain podcast, and that led to us actually reaching out to the voice actor for Deckard Cain, who actually recorded our News from Nowhere intro.
Yep.
Very cool. Damn.
Yep. So that was anyone listening, that was Deckard Cain himself saying the news from nowhere. There you go. That's our one claim to fame. But speaking of claims to fame or not, if you don't know, my segues aren't good, and I don't care. So, report BioWare is taking a break from Mass Effect. And the report from Kotaku suggests that in the light of Andromeda's woes, BioWare won't be diving straight into the development of the next Mass Effect installment. Kotaku is reporting that it's spoken to 4 unnamed sources close to BioWare who have stated that the company's flagship sci-fi series is being put on hiatus, and that BioWare Montreal will transition to a support studio for BioWare's other projects. This reportedly includes work on the new BioWare IP that EA announced a delay for during yesterday's earnings call. I apparently can't read anymore after 2 weeks. Kotaku also reports that BioWare Montreal will continue to support Mass Effect Andromeda for the time being. Just today, the developer announced a new patch that further improves the game's rocky cinematics. In a statement provided to Kotaku, BioWare Montreal studio director Yannick Roy says that BioWare is, and I quote, constantly looking at how we're prepared for the next experiences we will create, and that there will be much more to come from BioWare in the years ahead. I would hope so. BioWare is kind of big. And so, gentlemen, have either of you had a chance to play Andromeda.
No.
I have not.
Okay. Well, we're still going to talk about it. Anyway, because I mean, I'm sure both of us, or all of us have, heard all about the problems that this game had. I know personally I have laughed about it a lot and cried about it because Mass Effect was one of my favorite series. Uh, do you, some people are speculating that like they're done with Mass Effect, or that this will be like this trilogy is going to be where they stop it at this point. What do you all think is going to happen? I kind of hope they're just going to like hand it off to another studio that's probably more experienced and just be like, save this. You're our last hope. Bring it back. Maybe in a year or two, once people have kind of forgotten about Andromeda. Maybe after the next Dragon Age, which kind of makes sense.
It's kind of a shame, really, because it feels like, yeah, okay, so they made a troubled game. That can sometimes happen, but Mass Effect is such a big series. I really wish they would give them a chance to like lick their wounds and try to like get back on their feet again and learn from some of those mistakes, rather than go like, nope, we're done.
Well, I think that this might just be a situation where, aside from the previous 3 games, this is essentially a first new game. So they might be learning a situation where, all right, let's fix all the mistakes in the first one, air quotes first one, and maybe the second one in the Andromeda series eventually down the line, maybe in 4 or 5 years, where it's kind of subsided with the drama of the first one, for the first Andromeda, that we're going to fix all those mistakes and say, okay, we learned from this, now we're doing this. Or they're just going to totally wipe it clean and do another Mass Effect in another galaxy or something.
I feel like they don't need to completely jump galaxies, but I do think they're gonna want to drop the Andromeda out of the name at least. I mean I would be willing to give it another chance, but I know most gamers out there probably would see that name and be like, let's skip this one until Mass Effect Horsehead Nebula comes out. I don't know.
I'm calling it now. It's going to be Mass Effect 5, The Shepherd Ding.
Of course.
That was a word right there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure actually if they were like, we're bringing back Shepard, everyone would jump on board immediately. Hey, well, there would of course be skeptics who are like, he should be dead, but whatever. We're gonna not have fun, and other people have fun. But yeah, I hope it comes back personally. Mass Effect was a good series, and I think Montreal was they hadn't actually fully developed the game before, right? I believe they worked on the excuse me, I'm just getting over being sick. That horrible plague I had, like last year is back, but I have medicine this time.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm not dying this time. So I think they were like all they had really done was help with the multiplayer for Mass Effect 3. So, I feel like dissolving them or making them a support studio might have been a little harsh, just because it's like, it was their first real outing. They could have probably used a little bit more hand holding, but they seem to be trying to make it better and fix it. So maybe like over time, people will go back and look at Andromeda maybe a year down the line, see the updates it's had, and be like, all right, Montreal's not the worst BioWare there is,
Right.
I
think. Oh no, go Adam.
Oh, I was just going to say, I still intend to play it. I'm just going to wait until it's like $20-$30.
Yeah, I think that's fair, especially in a first quarter that's been flooded with amazing games like Persona 5, Zelda, Horizon. Like, this is a good game according to most of the like demographics, but that's not enough right now for me to care.
Yeah.
So I think, like you said, when it's $30 or $40 or 20 or whatever, and maybe 5 or 6 months from now, maybe it could get a resurgence of, oh, this isn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. Kind of like the Order 1886, where people like jumped on its throat the first couple months because they're like, I'm not paying $60 for this. This is ridiculous. And then when people started getting it for 30, 20, I think it was even down to 8 from a flash sale or something. Like, people said, all right, this isn't as bad as we all hyperbolized it to be.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll be the case here. I know I'll probably pick it up if it gets down to $15 or $10. Yeah. But you know what isn't going to be down to $15 or $10 soon because it got delayed?
Red Dead Redemption 2 delayed to spring 2018. Rockstar Games announced that its upcoming sequel, Red Dead Redemption 2, will now be released for the PS4 and Xbox One in the spring of 2018. Originally revealed to be releasing in the fall of 2017, Rockstar announced the delay today, saying that some extra time is necessary to ensure that we can deliver the best experience possible for our fans. Rockstar also offered to look at brand new screenshots from the Red Dead sequel. We are very sorry for any disappointment this delay causes, but we are firm believers in delivering a game only when it's ready. We are really excited to bring you more details about this game this summer, the Rockstar blog post reads. This, for me, I don't know about you guys, was no shock.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Same.
Honestly, the more shocking thing is if you scroll down in this article, that featured comment from Drunkle Crow. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm more shocked that that's a GIF, and I love it so much than anything else. I mean,
That's
yeah, there we go.
awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. So this is news. I mean, I'm not a fan of Red Dead, and I didn't expect it to come out, as soon as they were saying. So.
Yeah, I just kind of got to the point because I was even literally the day before this got announced, I was saying that I saw this as being delayed simply because we're almost halfway through this year. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a huge game, on the Gamescape, and the fact that we hadn't heard anything more about it at this point became more and more clear that it just wasn't happening yet. Because if this was truly coming out in the fall, we'd be getting information about this now.
Perhaps, but I think maybe too that, at least for me, it has not been on my radar at all. I've just kind of been a 3 months ahead kind of guy, haven't been focusing too much on the fall or even next year. So the fact that they delayed it, like everyone's been saying, it's not a huge surprise, but it might end up even better because maybe they'll have a nice niche in a spot that we're not totally overwhelmed on trying to remember what game's coming out and which ones already happened and all that kind of stuff.
Though I don't know if it needs a niche though, but it's like a Rockstar game. When these days when Rockstar releases a game, that's kind of a big deal.
True.
Honestly, good counterpoint.
I'm honestly scrolling through the comments, and I guess the most amazing thing on this page now has been upgraded to people who still don't understand that delays aren't a bad thing. Because I'm pretty sure everyone on this podcast probably understands, and no one likes to see a delay just because that's a longer time until the thing you want is going to be in your hand. But at the same time, it's these people know what they're doing. They're doing this job and getting paid to do this job for a reason. So they probably know that it's a good thing for them to be like, hey, give us an extra month or two. We need to nail down some issues so they don't have Andromeda coming out instead of
right.
A name X game that came out and was like a 9.0 immediately. So
no, that's a very good point because we didn't hear anything prior to Mass Effect Andromeda really until 6 weeks beforehand, where they started trickling out all the relevant information. So that might have been the canary in the coal mines, kind of giving us a heads up. Hey, this might be not as awesome as we think.
Yeah. And with something like this, they need it to come out and not flop, because if it does, it's going to be to go from the fame that they had with Red Dead Redemption 1, and if this one comes out and flops, that's going to be a serious scar.
Yeah, definitely.
Though I would... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's going to give gamers and players question for the next game that they release. Is it going to be a great game, or is it going to be like our hypothetical Red Dead Redemption 2?
Though to be fair to Rockstar, I think, in my opinion, the chances of Rockstar releasing a bad game at this point are fairly slim. I mean, they're kind of one of those studios that's so rock solid at this point and knows what they're doing that generally they just release good games. That's kind of what they do.
So you could say they're rock solid. You did it before I could do it.
But yeah, they could take as much time as they need because I am super excited for this game, and I know that it's going to be to the quality of the stuff they put out. So
yeah.
I'll be here when you're ready.
Definitely. And we're going to go ahead and jump on to the next story. Go ahead and take us away, Harry.
Sure. So from Nintendo Everything, they reported that this week, Wired's German division conducted an interview with Niantic CEO John Henk. Hank was able to answer a few questions, and the one that we, or at least I, found super interesting was his comment on legendary Pokemon. So during the interview, they asked anything about Mew, Mewtwo, and the three elemental birds, Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno. And he said, I can say with certainty that we will see more of that this year, which makes me really excited because ever since that trailer where a crowd in Times Square was kind of fighting Mewtwo, we were kind of waiting for this horde battle or this horde fighting kind of mentality, which we haven't seen. It's kind of been a hot mess, to put it nicely, for their start, and they've kind of, rearranged everything to make it a little bit more easily accessible for players. So I'm very curious what they're going to do with this major update on how they're going to present it. Because is it going to be total random encounters and just luck of the draw, or is it going to be something where your team collaborates together towards a mutual goal? So I'm very interested to see that, and I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking in Pokemon Go, the legendary birds, or if you don't give two hoots at all.
So I quickly got away from Pokemon Go simply because I get my workout in the gym, and I don't want to be, at the time when it came out, it was like super hot outside, and I did not want to be walking around a neighborhood in the beating sun, trying to catch Pokemon. So at that point, I was like, I got kind of done with it. But that was one of the things that drew me in the most, was seeing. I don't live anywhere near Times Square, but seeing everyone fight Mewtwo, I was like, that's freaking awesome, because I am a player that loves co-op. So that concept was what had me like supremely interested in the beginning. But yeah, I mean, I would just like to see something at this point, because I feel like the game, they keep trying to pump life into it, but are are you still playing, Harry?
Yes, I am playing way too much than I probably should, but it's a nice little thing. Like if I'm going for a walk, if I'm doing something that requires a lot of walking, it is a nice little companion with me.
Yeah.
And in terms of money, they are doing perfectly fine. I think for ever since they've been on the map, they've at least been the top 20 for top grossing apps on iPhones. And right now they're number 15. So I think if they do a major event like this, it's going to spike back up like it did when they reintroduced those Johto Pokemon in, I think, February or January. So that it's definitely one of those games that people are playing, but they might not be all rating that they're playing.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it'll be another situation where it spikes up and might drop down again. But Adam, you got something to say about this?
No, unfortunately, I don't really play Pokemon Go, so.
All right, well, thanks for contributing.
If it makes players happy, I'm all for it.
That's true.
Yeah. Love is love. Games are games.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just because I don't enjoy it doesn't mean someone else can't. And if someone really wants to go out into the beating sun or the cold freezing rain to catch a Mew, more power to them.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely going to be a 1-year anniversary thing. I have no doubt in my mind, because I think it's like July 3rd or 4th for the U.S. So they'll probably kick it off that way. At least that's my hypothesis. I'm sure other people have mentioned that as well.
No, there you go. So let me ask this then: if this is a thing and they start releasing, legendary Pokemon, what's the one that you want to see the most?
In terms of what there is available right now with Gen 1 and Gen 2,
yeah,
I would have to say, there's a challenge. I would say all of them, but that's a lame answer. I think I would probably go for a Lugia, just because it was probably one of my favorites when I was younger, especially with Gold and Silver. He was my silver buddy. And the Pokemon 2000, that movie, like he was the central character, so I thought that was badass, and I'm like, I like this character. Yeah, I think I would go with that one, but I don't think he'll be one of the first ones in.
Probably not.
this. I think they'll go for the classic 150, so like the legendary elemental birds like Zapdos, Moltres, Articuno, maybe Mewtwo and Mew, but I think the birds are going to be the top 3, and they'll implement that somehow with the teams, like the Instinct, Valor, and everything.
Yeah, it'd be silly for them not to start at those first, since those are the logos,
Right, definitely.
Yeah. But you know who's a logo of happiness and afros everywhere?
Who?
Bob Ross.
Ah.
The happy tree man himself. So, Bob Ross is coming to Smite. The add-on content comes with a Bob Ross skin for Sylvanas, the playable god, who fittingly already has a tree companion, and the bundle also includes a paint splatter jump stamp, I don't know what that is, and loading frame. I don't know what that is, but if you play Smite, you probably know about that. And I quote, "We've partnered with Twitch for special Smite content in the past, and this latest collaboration is something our dev team was really excited to work on," said Todd Harris, who's a co-founder and COO of Hi-Rez Studios. In a statement, quote, "The joy of painting inspired artists across the games industry and the Twitch live streams introduced Bob to gamers worldwide. The Bob Ross bundle on Smite will cost 700 gems or $10 on Twitch Commerce, and it's available now on PC and releases May 16th on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I just wanted to mention that because I thought that was awesome. There are a lot of dumb crossovers in games, and this is a dumb one that's really cool in my opinion, because Bob Ross is neat. I don't know how else to put it.
I agree. I'm just so curious how they got the rights to him. I'm very intrigued on like what is the family thinking, or if they just kind of did this and like, oh, we'll figure that out later. Just because I want to see a happy tree and him painting, and then all of a sudden they are making a disaster with Smite. So I thought it was really funny and really weird that he's coming on board. But I'm sure, the Smite players are very either confused, excited, or aloof to this.
Honestly, if I didn't have to pay money for it, I would probably try Smite out just to be like, haha, I'm running around as Bob Ross killing gods.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure how Smite works, but 700 gems, that could either be a really long grind session or short, but I don't know. So someone who is smarter with Smite can tell us.
Yeah. And I was going to say something. Oh, I feel like, Twitch did that like marathon of all of the Bob Ross, or painting with Bob Ross episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that might have something to do, because Smite is affiliated with Twitch. So I feel like that might have something to do. It might have been like, you already let us do all. Of course, I know this isn't how it goes, because this isn't how law and copyright goes. They were like, yeah, you already let us show every episode of your series. We pretty much own his face a little bit. You want to just let us do this now? Maybe?
Right.
It'll be funny, we swear. So yeah, it's an interesting idea though. I like and appreciate whoever came up with it.
Yeah, for sure. It's very unique to say the least.
Yep. And let's go ahead and move on to something that might not be liked and might not be appreciated, but I don't know. I personally don't, and I don't even like Uncharted, but go ahead, Adam.
Uncharted movie cast Spider-Man star Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. The latest Spider-Man, Tom Holland, will play Nathan Drake in the long-gestating Uncharted movie. According to Deadline, the movie will be set around the sequence in Uncharted 3's Drake's deception, in which a young Nathan first meets his mentor, Sully, it's Sully, not Sullivan, Sully, placing it as a prequel to the video game series. The casting decision was reportedly made after Sony Pictures chief Tom Rothman was impressed by Holland in the latest cut of the upcoming Spider-Man Homecoming. While Stranger Things director Sean Levy is still on board, Sony will apparently now begin the search for a new scriptwriter who will begin work on creating a young Drake storyline, which presumably means that Joe Carnahan's Monstrously Cool completed script has been dropped. It's been a long road to finding Nathan Drake. Originally announced in 2009, the film has gone through multiple directors, writers, and actors, including the seemingly solid Mark Wahlberg. I disagree with that. But who subsequently dropped out. With the director and a lead in place, this is as stable as the project's been for some time. Now it just needs a script and a gap in Holland's increasingly busy schedule. I'm actually pretty okay with this. Tom Holland's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he's demonstrated quite a bit quite a bit of parkour ability in training for Spider-Man. So in some ways, he might have the tools necessary to play Nathan Drake. Doing like kind of like a Nathan Drake origin story doesn't necessarily sound like a bad idea. It could work. That could be rock solid. And like kind of the upside is if they pick some 20-year-old to do it now. Like now, this is a big challenge: is making a good video game movie, because that just doesn't seem to happen. So that's the hurdle you got to clear. But if you can kind of get past that and make a really good Uncharted film, you got an actor who's like 20, he's like in his 20s now. This could potentially be like a long-term franchise for the studio.
True, very true. That's a very positive way to look at it, because I was in the shoes of many people where I thought that was a silly idea to make it a young Drake story. But yeah, I mean, if that's how they're gonna go about it, I'm not gonna go see it just because I don't care, but I could get behind that idea.
Well, I was actually concerned when I read Young Drake, but then as we were reading the article, it's a good and it's a different enough thing from the Uncharted games that it might actually turn into a decent movie. Like, it's not going to be a trashy Indiana Jones movie. It might be a coming of age story where we see an experienced heister with a naive heister. And I think it could be something different where it might not be a total disaster. But, who knows? In 3 months, they'll say that this one fell apart and now they want to do old man Nathan. So,
yeah, I'll just be honest. I would rather have Tom Holland play Nathan Drake than Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I didn't understand that pick when they first announced it, because like I like Mark Wahlberg, but that's not really a role for him.
No.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's never gonna happen, so I don't have to ruminate on the idea, or think about it, because I don't know.
Yeah. We'll never get the dream of God. Why can't I think of his name? Of the guy from the captain from Firefly playing
Nathan
that role.
Fillion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that seems like that would have been just like perfect.
There are a lot of roles he's perfect for.
It's true. It really is.
I greatly enjoy Nathan Fillion. But excuse me, I was supposed to mute for that. Shall we move on, gentlemen?
Yes.
let's do it.
All right. One last story. Go ahead, Harry.
Yeah, so one of the latest things that has come up with the Nintendo Switch is a leak for the Mario Cross Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which has been the rumor of a cross between the Mario world with the Raving Rabbits from Ubisoft. And it looks like we finally have an official leaked image. So if you guys haven't seen it, make sure you Google that ASAP. So Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So in this picture, we see Mario, we see Yoshi, we see Luigi, we see Peach. 3 of them are carrying what looks to be a Samus cannon, but it's highly unlikely it's actually a Samus cannon. And then Luigi looks to be holding the vacuum from Luigi's Mansion, which is really interesting. And then there are 4 raving rabbits dressed up as Mario characters, which is very strange. So we have a wild Luigi with a weird yo-yo being thrown. We have a selfie-taking Peach rabbit. We have a psycho-looking Yoshi just blasting. And then we have a raving rabbit Mario with a hammer. This is weird. This is strange, but I'm very intrigued on what this gameplay is actually going to be. Kotaku wrote about a month ago about possible leak, and we've been hearing about this game for months, but no actual images. They mentioned that it's going to be the Mario and crew wielding guns that shoot laser beams. They also mentioned that it's going to be a goofy sense of humor game with 2-player local co-op, as well as a turn-based combat. So this could be like Mario RPG, just mixed in with Raving Rabbits. So I just wanted to hear what you guys think about this. Is it totally psycho? Are you excited? Are you indifferent? Like, what are your thoughts?
I don't even have a Nintendo console, so I'm usually indifferent to this kind of stuff. But it's interesting, I guess. I think the rabbits cosplaying as the Mario characters is cute. I'll say that much. And it's creepy, and it could be hilarious. So that's my opinion. It sounds like a fun party game. I'll go ahead and say that.
What do you think, Adam? Any points of view?
The promotional picture I saw looks cool. I guess I have to see like what the game is and see if there's like a draw there. Because I'm a pretty big story-based gamer. For the most part, the stuff that I play is stuff that's got like a traditional like story mode and like a driving story, that kind of thing. And so, I don't think this is probably going to fall into that category. Not that it won't be good. It could potentially be good for those who want to play it, but I need to see more, and maybe there will be something so cool that I change my mind.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I feel like the Rabbids series is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that series is like kind of not a low-hanging fruit necessarily, but it's kind of a mid-ranger. Like they've never really done anything super amazing with that. Is that right? I've never played any of them. I'm just going for like reviews.
So yeah, I would definitely agree with that. At least in the States, that it's kind of a meh game. Usually one of those games that come out early in the console's life to just kind of push some numbers. But in Europe, it is very popular, much more popular than what we have in the U.S. Oh. So I think if this is like a satisfactory hit in the States, it might blow up in Europe and Asia and all those the non-U.S. areas. So I'm interested to see if that was a factor or if it's just this is the one topic that Mario and Nintendo was okay with collaborating with. Because I don't think Mario crossed with The Division is going to be a good game, even though that would be badass. But
I would play the hell out of that game.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that too. But I think this is the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that kind of meshes well with the art style, viewpoint, expectation of Mario.
You know, Mario is from New York.
New Donk City, there's a difference.
It's kind of it feels like Rabbids are like the video game equivalent of Minions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. They were pre-Minions, so they're like the goofy, like inaudible characters, and now we have like little yellow ones to be the same exact thing.
Yep. But I like them a whole lot less. For some reason, they annoy me far more.
Who, the Minions?
Yeah, Minions. Like,
okay.
I've heard that the Despicable Me is a great movie. They're from Despicable Me.
Correct.
I've heard it's a great movie, and I still want to watch it. But just like the Minions, and when I see them like pictures of the Minions dressed up as Wolverine or something, or like a Minion next to a quote that somebody thinks is like really deep, like "Don't mess with me, today's not your day, bub," or something, and it's a Minion in a Wolverine outfit. I'm just like, oh, why? Stop, please.
That's amazing.
I used to work at a large call center, and there were so many like uber basic people there, and they were all about the Minions and
uber basic people. I think that's my favorite quote of the night so far.
You might get some more by the end. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the part that I call free stories. These are the stories that, well, I pretty much make the docs of the stories that I usually put there that I thought were interesting but weren't interesting enough to cover, and I usually say them pretty quickly, so there you go. You're going to have to keep up. So, Sega Necromancy, I don't remember what that story's about, but that's what I put down, so you're going to have to look that up and figure it out. Look for Sega stories of this week. And The Witcher is coming to Netflix. We already talked about it a little bit. Platinum is teasing a new franchise. That's probably going to be neat. Who knows? And Scalebound Lives. It might be coming back. Who knows? Microsoft refiled their patent on it or something. So there you go. It could be exciting. It's going to be awesome maybe if it comes out. And let's go ahead and move on to our thought from nowhere. It comes to us this week from Tyler Fisher, and he says, what are some IPs you would love for Telltale to work on? That was his question. And my answer, when I had one 2 weeks ago, might have been something along the line. If anyone has an answer, please, God, jump in.
I kind of went wild, and I have three answers. So I'll do one at a time to give you guys some quality time to ponder on yours. The first one I thought of was Power Rangers, the original OG one, mostly because maybe a week or two ago we heard news that there might not be a sequel to the received movie that just came out this year in March. So I thought maybe if we assume the character as maybe one of the Power Rangers, that could be the big Hook as your first choice. Like, what Power Ranger are you going to be? And that's going to be the character you play for all 5 episodes or 4 episodes.
Mhm.
So you're seeing it in that character's point of view. So you can inadvertently play it 5 different ways and get 5 different points of view, which I think is super cool. Plus all the choices you make, that could be something that like I would be obsessed with. And they can craft it in a way where the trophies kind of are varied enough where you can play it as a Black Ranger, get maybe 3 out of the 5 trophies. Play as a Pink Ranger, get another one. Play as a Blue Ranger, and then get all of them for the episode. Kind of like what they did with The Wolf Among Us, where you have to make certain choices, which made it, to me, a little bit more exciting to try and replay it, as opposed to just saying, all right, I played through this episode like Walking Dead. All right, I got 5 trophies. That's cool, whatever. So that was the first one I thought of, and I thought that would be cool. Or even if you could play as Zordon, like being that face on a wall, or being Alpha 5, or being like Bulk and Skull. Like, there's a lot of like little ways to make this really different than something we've seen in the Power Ranger universe.
That's a pretty good one. I can dig it. I'm gonna jump in with mine. Mine. So I think Adam, have we had this question before, or we just like talked about something like this before?
Well, I actually, funnily enough, wrote a article for the site answering this question.
Oh, okay. Well, my answer, I usually jump back to comic books just because those usually have really good stories, and I feel like there's something that would translate well. Incorruptible or Irredeemable, I'm pretty sure I've talked about those 2 comic books on the podcast before. They both have amazing storylines. They're something that everyone should read if they want a comic series. It's like 30 issues long, or each of them is like 30 issues long, but it's really story driven and everything. Those are the ones I'm gonna pick just because there isn't necessarily a lot of combat. There's a lot you can do with it. Yeah, there you go. I'm not gonna talk about the whole thing because I'll get into spoilers and I'll probably go on a little long about it. But go ahead, Adam, if you're ready, or we can jump back.
Yeah, I can probably meet Harry at 3. I'll quickly call out some ones that I won't actually bring up because I had like a list of about 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say like honorable mentions. I had the idea of like a Beavis and Butthead Telltale game.
Nice.
Sons of Anarchy Telltale game.
Not bad.
James Bond Telltale game. But okay, we'll do 3. First one, Saw.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to see them work with that. I mean, because Saw is a movie that's all about choice.
Yeah.
And decisions having dire consequences. I think Telltale would have fun playing with that sense of choice. I think maybe like developing some kind of death trap mechanic might help add something new to Telltale's bag of tricks. And like the original Saw games were kind of trash, so it'd be cool to get a good Saw game.
True.
Very nice.
What's number 2 for you, Harry?
So another one I thought of in the breath of Tales from the Borderlands could be Futurama. I loved that show. I thought it was very witty. It was very dynamic. There was a bunch of different characters introduced constantly. And then also it had a certain tone of sadness a lot of times. So I think this is a type of franchise, especially since it ended. I don't want to spoil it, but that last episode just like gets you in the feels.
Yeah.
So if they can do something where, obviously no spoilers, but they can go back into one of those scenarios and kind of say, all right, this is going to be our focus. We're going to diverge and maybe draw from the series while also creating some new threads of themes and thematics and everything. That could be really cool. Whether you're playing as Fry or Leela or anyone, I think would be really funny. And then that could be one of the ones that is not going to be doom and gloom, but it could be jovial, whimsy, but then also have those really sad moments.
Yeah.
So
that's a good pick.
Thank you, sir.
The weight of Futurama is actually why I like it better than The Simpsons. I think it is a superior show, actually.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yep. And I would play the hell out of a Futurama Telltale game. That'd be great. Number 2 for me, actually, it's surprising that nobody's tried to do anything with this like cultural juggernaut, Doctor Who.
There
A
have
Telltale
been Doctor Who games.
Recently, though?
The only one I can think of is from the Lego Dimensions.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, okay, there hasn't been any big name Doctor Who games other than
That's
correct the Telltale or the Lego Dimensions. I just think Doctor Who is a really interesting series. There's like an infinite number of interesting worlds and characters and races. There's a whole history to draw. You can pick any Doctor you want to be, to be in your Telltale game. It could change from season to season. I just think it's a really rich universe, and it would be a lot of good stuff for Telltale to play with. Much like Futurama, there's a lot because there are moments of like levity that you could have, but once again, like Doctor Who is not afraid to kind of turn on the feels and get serious, and so there'd be plenty of kind of emotions and tonal shifts for Telltale to play with. I just think it would be a really good marriage.
Yeah, I can definitely.
Yeah,
do that.
awesome. I like that too. And just to finish this off, I guess my last one is Samurai Jack.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think, yes. So I'm not sure how this would go. I've been playing with the idea for a little bit in my head that we can either be Jack going through maybe the first couple seasons, not this latest one because it ends and we don't want to kind of ruin with the continuity. But this could be something where he meets random characters, kind of befriends them, not befriends them, creates new enemies based on your decisions. Or you could play as Aku, the super villain that you see it from his perspective. Like, is he that bad of a character? Is he just always angry? Is he trying to hunt them down? How successful is he? I think this could go into a bunch of different ways as well. And, since Samurai Jack had that new season, like everyone's been talking about it again. So this might be maybe a year or two. Like there's a hunger for Samurai Jack again. And I think they were pretty confident in saying this season's over. We're done. Like this was the icing on the cake for this character.
Yeah.
But if we can make it into a game, that's another way to pull the excitement and fans out.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing as Aku because like this season really gave him a lot more like it gave him personality. Like he never really was. I feel like you never really got to see Aku naturally. That sounds weird considering he's like the big villain, the evil demon. But like the episode of this season where he's made himself into his own therapist and he's
Yes,
going over how depressed and stuff he is.
I loved that.
Yeah, that was so good. And I was like, I like Aku as a character now. Like, I used to like him just because I really like that intro dialogue. But now it's just like, this guy is actually very interesting. He's evil, he's a jerk, but he's funny. And it's kind of sad. It's like, he kind of did this to himself.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it'd be really interesting to play through something like that. Maybe, like splitting between him and Jack. That'd be neat.
Definitely.
And about Doctor Who, I would love to play through Demon's Run or the episode of the Family of Blood. Those were two. I like it when the Doctor gets serious, and those were two very serious Doctor parts. So.
All right, for my number one, and this is really outside the box, so you're gonna have to just bear with me a moment here. Is I think that Telltale would do well to tackle a kind of an underground cult sensation. This is not a TV show. This is not a movie. This is a podcast. Have either of you guys ever heard of something called Welcome to Night Vale?
Yes.
No.
So, Welcome to Night Vale is a podcast. It's basically Prairie Home Companion by way of Stephen King. It's a local access radio show that takes place in the town of Night Vale. Night Vale's a town in which pretty much every single kind of crazy government conspiracy you've ever heard is real. They have a library, but the library is inhabited by large monsters. There's a dog park, but nobody's allowed in the dog park because there are hooded figures in there at all times. There are dragons. There are like faceless little women that live in your house. It's a very weird place, but the kind of fun part is all treated as all very normal. It's like one of the most interesting and rich universes I've been exposed to in recent in recent memory. The podcast is phenomenal writing, really fascinating characters, fascinating storylines, and I would love to see a visualization of it. And I think this would be like a supreme challenge for Telltale to bring this to life. And it would be a good chance for them to gain some recognition for bringing a really quality piece of art further into the spotlight. If you guys haven't listened to Welcome to Night Vale, check it out. It is really something special.
That sounds really cool. I'm very interested to see if they ever do something like that where it's not a one-to-one visualization comparison. It's a what your mental image is compared to what Telltale thinks their mental image is.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
That's good. I like it. And now that I know, I don't know what I thought Night Vale was, but I kind of want to know more now, just because I like the worlds where it's like modern world, but there's a lot of fantasy stuff going on and stuff that shouldn't be but is, and that's part of why I
Mm.
got like hooked into Hellboy. So that's an interesting sounding podcast. And if I ever get a job where I can listen to podcasts on the while I'm at work, that would be something to download.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, while maybe a little more whimsical, I think comparing it in the same circles, Hellboy is a pretty apt comparison.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, there you go, everybody. That has been A Thought from Nowhere. We're going to go ahead and move on to everyone's least favorite segment of the show, and that is the closing segment. So, as you know, we record on Tuesday nights while casting live on Twitch at MONG Plays. Be there or be square and lose some of my love. You can email us at contact.mong@gmail.com. That's where you can send any of your thoughts, concerns, questions, or if you have a thought from nowhere, you can send it over there. We'll check it out. And you can find our Mong Twitter account at mong.com. Of course, the dot is spelled out because you can't use periods in Twitter names. And you can find us on YouTube at Mong Network. That's where everything goes up. Reviews, previews, the podcast, of course. You can also find our playthroughs. There we go. That's what I was looking for. You can also find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram. You can check out our website, which is Middle of Nowhere Gaming.com for all of our latest editorial news reviews. That's where everything goes. And if you want to be awesome and help us keep the lights on, we do have a Patreon. You can find us at Middle of Nowhere Gaming. If you want to donate, we really appreciate it. And if you don't, we still appreciate you listening or watching or reading or whatever you do. We still appreciate the support of our site. So definitely hang around. We love you platonically.
Winky face.
All right, Harry loves you a little bit more than platonically.
Yeah. Double winky face.
All right, we're going to get out of here before this gets creepier than it already is. Anyway, if you're looking for these specific people that you see on screen, including the one that is a picture that tricked someone into thinking that he just wasn't moving earlier. God dang.
It's because it's like Harry isn't a real person. He's just like a program that's running our website.
That is correct. There is no error in that logic.
The Loizides. God, did I say it right?
I'm the Loizides virus.
There you go. He's a virus. But yeah, if you want to find us, these specific people on Twitter, whenever we tweet, I am Furious Milk. Adam is
Fanboy_Adam.
And Harry is
Ill Grill Chill.
There you go. And if for whatever reason you didn't catch those and you need to know how to spell them, they are on screen on the podcast at all times. So pop over to YouTube if you're not there already to see how to spell it and all that good stuff. And beyond that, gentlemen, we're done for the night. Harry, we all have outros, kinda. Mine's is I'm going to bed. Adam.
Cuckoo Kajoo.
All right, that's new. And Harry, if you want to have your outro or if you want to just say goodnight.
Mine is I will figure out something better next time.
That's one I think I've heard before, actually. I'm pretty sure that was mine for a while. Anyway, yeah, it's been fun, everybody. So you all have a good night, and we will catch you next week.
Bye.